Okay, so today everybody gets to choose one of these 22 different tier 3 characters, and because of that I had a few people hitting me up on Discord asking me who I chose on the free-to-play account and what are some good choices. So today I've put together a list ranking all 22 of these different characters. In addition to that, I'll show you what I'll get on the whale account and what I chose on the free-to-play account. So before we jump into it, let me just tell you, since I have all of the tier 3 characters in the game, I'm pretty much just going to use these free tokens that if you were just logging in, you would have been able to get a free tier 3 character from simply playing the game for like 5 days. So I'm going to be choosing energy and a little bit of tier 3 materials on the whale account. On the free-to-play account, however, I decided to go with Black Bolt because I purchased his Halloween uniform, and I think that is a great pickup for any free-to-play player. So this is what the free-to-play account chose. With that being said, let's jump into the tier list. I'm gonna rank all 22 of these different tier 3 characters based on their current value, and I'll give you a little bit of feedback in regards to a couple of them and what their potential could be in the next 3 months. So this is the list right here, and as you can see, we have 4 different tiers. I didn't want to overcomplicate things, so I broke it down like this: best value, great value, average, and then we have characters that are simply for story mode, fragment farming, for Shadowland fillers, and Alliance Conquest. Okay, I'm gonna put them all in the exact same category. Now do keep in mind that I am ranking these characters based on what I use them for on a daily or weekly basis. So if I'm not using them for much, that's the reason why they're gonna go in story mode, Shadowland, and Alliance Conquest. I'll go ahead and just put Alliance Conquest right here. So just put a slash there and just put AC. It looks a bit messy, but bear with me. Okay, cool. So we're gonna put Ant-Man in here as arguably the weakest tier 3 in the game because his uniform is all the way back from Avengers Endgame. However, keep in mind that Quantumania is scheduled to be released February the 17th, which means we're guaranteed to get a new uniform for Ant-Man and a tier 4 for him. So if Ant-Man is your favorite hero, even though he's arguably the weakest tier 3 on this list, maybe you want to get him to tier 3 now so that when he gets his new uniform and his tier 4, you don't have to spend the materials to upgrade him from tier 2 to tier 3, and you can just have him at tier 3 ready to push to level 80 and tier 4 him. Okay, next we're gonna put Black Panther in here. Black Panther unfortunately did not get anything for Wakanda Forever. Maybe they have a part 2 coming for December where we could see Shuri's synergy uniform, maybe a synergy uniform for Riri Williams, aka Ironheart, something for Okoye, M'Baku, who knows? But we're living in the land of maybe and what ifs. So for me, I'm just gonna rank these characters as they are now, but I also wanna let you know that there is the potential for them to get stuff in the future, and the very near future at that. Next up, we have Winter Soldier. He's pretty much just a leadership for World Boss Legend if you don't have any physical leadership. Besides that, story mode, AC, and it's kind of the same story with Daredevil. Daredevil may be a little bit better than him for Alliance Conquest, but obviously Winter Soldier has a leadership, so it's up to you where you want to rank them, but they're definitely at the bottom of this tier list. Unfortunately, there is no more squad battles, so because of that, Ghost Rider's value has dropped all the way down to just being a story mode farming character, and that is it. Next up, we have Vision. Pretty much the same deal as these other characters. A slight leadership, a little bit of DPS in there, decent survivability, but he is just, for the most part, Shadowland AC. Moving into the average category, we have Rogue. Rogue, unfortunately, because there's no more squad battle, her value has plummeted, but she still has good DPS. I was able to do up into the 40s against Null with her, so she's definitely quite powerful. However, we have more powerful characters. I want to put War Machine in the average category because he has a leadership and a support for one of the best characters in the game right now, which is Iron Man, which we would put in best value. So because of that, I'm gonna put put War Machine in the average category, just above these guys down here. Next up, we have Falcon. We're gonna put Falcon just above Rogue, a little bit more DPS, better survivability overall. So we're gonna put him in the average category. Once upon a time, he would have been in best value, but power creep is a thing, and this is a mobile game, so power creep will happen. Next up, we have the great value category. We obviously have to put Cyclops here. He's arguably best value because of his leadership and his support, and for the simple fact that he's the only leadership slash support character you have for the blast villain category for the majority of the characters that can participate. You know what, I'm gonna go ahead and just put him in best value. Okay, I definitely think there's an argument to be made there for Cyclops. He's one of the longest running leadership slash supports that stayed in the meta. Next up, we have Captain Marvel, and she goes down here somewhere between Daredevil, and it's up to you how you want to shake this out, but they're pretty much just for story and alliance conquest. So great value is looking kind of barren right now, so we're gonna go ahead and put Sharon Rogers in there. I know Sharon Rogers has kind of been pushed out of the meta, but she's still arguably one of the highest DPS and characters in the game that does not have level 80 and tier 4. Keep that in mind, okay? So definitely great value there. And we know with Sharon Rogers, she doesn't stay out of the meta very long. Every time she's been pushed out, within a year's time, she gets a new uniform and a massive power boost. So now with tier 4 being a thing and us having so many combat characters, it's only a matter of time before they start pumping up Blast, Universal, and Speed tier 4s. And Sharon Rogers and Luna Snow might very well be back in the meta by, I would say, summer 2023. So keep an eye on this girl. She's coming back sometime very, very soon. She's Netmarble's love child, for God's sake. Next up, we have Spider-Man. Definitely great value, definitely more value than Sharon Rogers currently. We're gonna put Captain America somewhere around here. Better DPS than Spider-Man for sure. And since he has a type advantage over Spider-Man for PvP, arguably he should be better. I haven't seen very many Spider-Mans lately in PvP, so I haven't gotten a chance to test out Captain America versus Spider-Man. So these three definitely goes in great value for me. We're gonna say Loki goes in great value as well, and I would definitely put him right around here since he's still relevant. However, keep in mind that Loki will most likely be getting a uniform for season 2 next year, so the shelf life of this uniform isn't very long. Next up, we have best value. We're gonna hit and put Black Bolt in there, highest DPS in the game. Black Widow, simply because of the fact that she's the only speed human female tier 4, so she covers so many days of ABX and ABL. Hulk, because he is one of the best PvP characters in the game. We're gonna put him anywhere between Black Bolt and Black Widow. To be honest, since he can counter Black Widow for PvP, I guess it makes more sense to put him in front of Black Widow. But if you don't really care about PvP and you care more about ABL, ABX, then Hulk would be back here somewhere. It's just completely up to you how you want to shake this list out. I think Iron Man may be ahead of Hulk just because of the fact that if you swap him over to Superior Iron Man, you cover multiple days in ABX/ABL. Very valuable character. Next up, we have Thor. We're gonna put Thor right around here, just behind Hulk, simply because of the fact that even though Thor is needed for a lot of World Boss Legend stages at higher levels, he's only really meta for one day in ABL. So it really comes down to whether or not you're pushing high levels in World Boss Legend. That would move him closer to the front of this list, versus if you're just playing ABL and you're trying to get to 5-6 million every day, then he would stay around here. So it's completely up to you. Storm's value is pretty high. I would definitely put her right here. Assuming you have all of the uniforms on this list, that's how this thing would shake out. Keep in mind, right, some of these uniforms, obviously these characters down here at the very bottom, I wouldn't buy their uniforms. I honestly wouldn't buy anything under great value, but I'm just ranking them assuming you have these uniforms already. Next up, we have Venom. We're gonna put Venom right around here, and the simple reason for that is even though he's very strong for ABX, ABL, World Boss Legend, and Giant Boss Raid, we have Moon Knight, and Moon Knight seems to outscore him for ABX and ABL and is able to participate in a lot more stages in World Boss Legend due to the fact that he has the Weapon Master tag and the leadership tag, as opposed to Venom, who only has, I believe, the recovery rate tag, which does not pop up that often. So we're gonna have to put him all the way back here. This is how I would shake out this tier 3 selector tier list.